Yeah.
What's up, Frank?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Can hear me?
Yeah, we
got
Can
you,
you hear
Frank.
us?
Yeah. Yeah, I got you guys.
Oh,
All right.
great. Were you
Good
at the
stuff,
facility?
I'm at my house right now.
Nice house, Frank.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm in my backyard. I got people working on the inside of my house, so I'm just
And you live in a place where you can be
quiet.
outside.
yeah,
Yeah, it
absolutely.
must be nice.
Nice outside.
Yo,
Yeah.
I was demanded to ask. I got to make sure Blaha wanted me to know, like, you're gonna be ready to go to sub this summer, right? Like, no injury concerns hold you back on the softball field or anything.
No. Yeah, none.
Okay, appreciate that.
I should be back here in the next few weeks. That's why I'm here. Our team's in New Orleans. I'm staying back. I'm finishing up my rehab, hopefully in the next week or two.
Just in time for softball. He's hustling to get his rehab done for softball.
Yeah.
season.
Attaboy.
Somebody's got to hit home runs.
Or the NBA
It's a
playoffs.
big strike zone.
NBA playoffs are big, but but let the record
16
show.
is
Cam
16 is
Johnson came out
softball.
and played on the team too. It's
That's
crazy.
fun.
Yeah.
I
Crazy.
feel like, can we put this in? Do you care if we put this in, Frank?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I feel. Can you get in trouble for that? Like, who just got hurt? Tatis. For,
yeah.
Well, he was riding a motorcycle.
Is
He
there
was riding a motorcycle.
so there's no
not riding
16-inch
motorcycles.
clause?
No, I don't think so. I've been doing it for the past like 5 or 6 years, so I hope not.
Yeah, he's recently become a free agent too because the team he normally played on kind of disbanded. So now Frank's around and there's some.
Well, no, what happened was, so I played on Blaha's team for a summer with a couple of my friends. We were really good. And then I got some bright ideas that I was going to have all my friends play on a team, and we didn't win a single game.
Yeah.
So I was like, you guys suck. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I went back to
Something with
Blaha's
Blaha,
team, won the championship. So I was like, I'll play with him from now on.
It's a classic story. Do you want to be good or do you want to play with your buddies?
That's almost like a
good.
reverse LeBron.
Yeah, be good in the softball.
I want to be great. If you're not good enough,
You're out.
Right.
you're out.
Well, we'll get into it here. So, all right, bang, bang. Today is Monday. It's March 21st. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Frank Kaminsky, if you didn't hear before, that's who it is. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
After that whole intro, it's just like, hey, welcome.
I mean, this is my first time on Barstool Chicago, so
We've
pretty
definitely
honest.
hit
Hold
you up
on.
before and you've ignored us.
I
Whoa.
DM'd you, asking you to come on for baseball
Was it
talk, and you just
was it
ghosted
on
me.
Twitter?
It was.
Was it on Twitter? I don't look at Twitter like it. I don't look at social media that much at all anymore. True story.
That lucky
Right.
you.
Well, do you
Lucky
want to just say your phone number right now for next time?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
But you should really come in next time when you come home in the summer. And you should.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
Frank,
That'd be
I don't
great.
know if you remember me personally, but I've told people this before. You're that guy that I run into in the most random fucking places of all time. I ran into you at the Old Town Art Fair the year before the pandemic. And like there was like 5 or 6 other times then. I worked at Walker Athletics out in Lisle, and you and I would just shoot the shit for like hours with Tika's Pettigrew.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Can I-
It's really random.
It's super
And I
fucking
always,
random.
I feel like I don't get to go home and go to that many Sox games anymore. But every time I do, I run into you in like the parking lot
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere random. It's never in the stadium. It's like outside of the stadium.
I'm like,
at
hey,
Turtles
Frank,
or
what's up,
something.
man?
You're a
In the
Lot B
parking
guy.
lot.
You just
Yeah.
love Lot B.
Well, it feels like we've had you on 10 times. Like,
Yeah.
like Frank's one of those names where you're like, yeah, Frank comes by the office. We're friends with Frank. We've been cheering for Frank forever. I've known this name going back to the high school days when you were putting up 25 and 15 for
Bennett
Bennett.
Academy.
These are names, and then it's like, no, you're right. This is actually the first time we've ever done anything with Frank. But I go into this draft saying I have a very high level of comfort with you, Frank. So that's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I've never met you, Frank. So that goes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I met his mom once.
I'm just a regular dude.
In the
I
NBA.
enjoy 16-inch softball and going to White Sox games
You-
and sitting in the outfield.
You hit one out at Sox Park, didn't you? Taking BP there a couple years ago?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, that's not easy to do.
I used to. So when I was in Charlotte for 4 years, their AAA team
That's right.
is in Charlotte. I used to go there just like literally my building was 2 blocks from the stadium. I used to just go there and just hit just for fun.
That's
I literally
awesome.
just text somebody within like our team, say, "Hey, can I go do batting practice today?"
Come on
I was
over.
there in the summers. It was fun.
And also, can I say this too? All due respect, White Sox Dave. I feel like Old Town Art Fair and the Sox game is not that random occurrence.
There was one. It might have been at like
Like it's
a
not like
fucking
the
Jewel or
certain
something.
Potbellies in Lincoln. You know what I mean?
I also think there's a factor of I run into that guy everywhere, but maybe he's just 7 feet tall. I
Yeah.
didn't notice him. That could be part of it, Dave.
That's probably
That's definitely
true.
part of it, but it's definitely been random. I can agree. It's weird.
It's weird. It's all because like I first met Frank well before I started working for Barstool, like years before it. I was like 22 years old. I'm 33 now. He was in college at Wisconsin. He would come shoot. It'd be him, Evan Turner from St. Joe's in OSU, who had a good NBA careir.
He was like second overall.
Yeah,
pick.
he almost averaged a triple double his junior year.
That Walker Athletic Center was where he worked. I played AAU for a guy named Tikas Pettigrew growing up, and he kind of moved all of his stuff into there. And then I started working out with someone else in there. It's just that was like 5 minutes from my house. So when I come home college, like summer in college, that's where I'd work out.
Did you have a take? Did you have a perception of this guy before he became to be known as White Sox Dave?
Internet more.
Not really. No.
What were you, a desk guy?
Not
what were
really.
You doing?
I was doing sales for him. It was
Okay.
an internship, and it became my first actual 9-to-5 job. And I worked there for like 6 or 7 months, maybe when I was like 23, 24, like full time. And then I couldn't do the reverse commute anymore. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna not work here anymore.
I'm out.
Yeah, that reverse commute blows.
Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun.
Well, Frank, today is the draft. We're doing a dog walk draft. You're actually the second person outside of the Barstool office that we've had on, so that's a good distinction too.
It's an honor.
Yeah, you and Big John, the mailman. He's a mailman in Batavia.
He's a legend.
He's a great guy, the best. But yeah,
A mailman from
He wasn't
Batavia.
available today, so we called you.
You do
We're pretty
got
selective, I'd say, is who we like to let into our lives, and obviously this is pretty telling.
you do got big shoes to fill. Big John he's legendary.
He's a legend.
It sounds like it. I mean, if a mailman from Batavia makes it onto Barstool Chicago, you got to be doing
Multiple
something
times. He's
legendary.
been on like 5 times.
All the time. Now,
He sent us a
he's there a
Christmas
lot.
card.
now we have to coordinate when Frank comes into the office. It's got to be a Big John day too.
That's. I mean, I got to meet this guy.
Yes, you do. He's a big Sox fan too.
Oh,
Big
huge Sox fan.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, I got my Sox stuff. I always got my Sox stuff on.
There you go. How about that? Some more Sox representation here, Dave.
We need more of it. We don't have any in this office. It's just
I got a brick from old Kaminsky, and I got Cusack in a 8-man out jersey.
I did have that slip up online yesterday. I'm like, it was something about confrontations in a parking lot. Like, man, people that confront, and I wasn't even saying it ironically.
No, David.
Yeah, and then obviously
that's tough.
people were like, "Yeah, I fucking hate those assholes." And I'm like, ah.
Yeah, but you've
I'm
always
one of those
hated. You've
assholes.
always hated yourself to a degree.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm
lines
right
up,
there with
checks
you.
out.
It's funny.
I'm happy. I mean, hey, I'm happy you confronted him. There's no flipping back and forth.
Thank you.
Not allowed.
Thank you.
Not allowed.
It is not
Can't do
allowed.
it.
See, there you go.
If in my household, if I would have ever said anything about the Cubs, I think my dad would have disowned me. He did take it. I'm named after my dad. I'm the third. If I would have been talking, I'm like, I think I like the Cubs. He'd have been like, you're not named Frank anymore.
You're done.
We're naming you something else.
You're Craig. Yeah, that makes sense. So we can't announce who won last week because we don't know. We're recording this early because it's the midst of the tournament, and we're going to stay in that theme, stay in that vein. And we're drafting college coaches. So it could be anyone, living, dead, present, non-present, men, women. Like, it doesn't matter. We're all everything's on board. Okay.
Ooh.
What?
I wasn't thinking that way. Okay,
No.
There's been some legendary.
there
women's
has. I
coaches,
can
for
think
sure.
of 2.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the way it's good. Frank, are you pretty? Do you know the rules at all? It sounds pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, just drafting coaches.
Yeah, 5 rounds. So we'll do the order here. So our intern Lance, he has a number 1 through 5 behind his back. What number is it, Frank?
4.
No.
It's not 4. Carl.
2.
Yeah.
I'll take the first overall pick.
Okay, 1 through 4, Chief.
1.
No.
Fuck you.
3.
Yeah.
I'll take 3.
All right, it's to me 1 through 3. 2.
No.
Frank, 1 through 3.
3.
No.
Nope. Carl.
Well, 1.
Or Chief. Sorry.
I'll go second.
Okay. 1 or 2 to me. I'm just gonna say 1.
Yep.
All right, I'll take the 5th spot. So Frank, you got the 4th.
That works. That's what I wanted.
There you go. You're exactly where you want to be. So the order is Carl, Chief, Eddie. No, it's Carl, Chief. I fucked up. White Sox Dave, Eddie, Frank.
Eddie Frank. Frank Eddie.
Frank Eddie. Sorry, I'm all fucked up. I wrote something on
He
wrong.
goes, I'm sorry, Frank
Carl,
Eddie?
Chief, White Sox Dave, Frank Eddie. I'm last. Sorry. My apologies. All right, let's just do it. Let's kick it off. Carl, you're up.
All right, Dave, I'm gonna take the left tackle from Iowa. I'm gonna take the guy, right? I'm gonna take the guy. I think he stands out the era wise because there's other eras and all this stuff. But I'm taking John Wooden. I'm taking the 10 national championships. I'm taking the black and white picture on the graphic.
You're taking the pyramid of success.
Yeah, I'm taking the guy who basically pioneered dynasties in college basketball, and that's John Wooden. I don't think there's even a debate for it, but I'd be interested. Frank is a guy who played modern college basketball against a lot of the coaches that we're going to end up drafting. Like, would you and your peers consider John Wooden to just be like the goat of all goats, or is it too old or too mythological?
I mean, his name definitely carries a lot of weight. Like, all old school college basketball coaches point to John Wooden for a lot of stuff. So, I mean, even if it's even if his style would have been outdated or whatever today, he is like a pioneer. So it's hard to disagree with him, number one overall.
Yeah.
It's a little
he is
lame.
the
I
name.
understand
he's
it's a lame pick, but
he's got awards named after him.
Yeah.
Did you win it?
I did.
There you go.
That's fucked up.
yeah, Frank.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up, but then if Frank brought up the fact that he was just waiting for somebody to be like, well we got a Wooden Award winner.
Tainted now. It's kind of tainted now, too, because it's the Wendy's Wooden Award.
Oh, how are you going to get a sponsor for that?
You got to get a sponsor for everything.
I don't
You
know.
don't got to, but
I do like Wendy's, though. Wendy's is, if I was to pick a fast food restaurant, Wendy's would be number one.
Yeah, it's fine.
point number 2 for Frank today.
Oh, I thought you were
How
out
many
on Wendy's.
points did you have
that's
when
the
you
only
won the
fast
Wooden
food
Award?
burger I'll eat. I love junior
okay.
bacon cheeseburger. Delicious.
All right, bad things about John Wooden. I know it's kind of a lame pick. Like, I think I can.
I've got a
but I
few.
feel like when we get going in there, like, there's a lot of comparables in the next wave, but I feel like he stands alone. Okay.
I will hole poke, if you will.
I want it.
Okay, so he won a zillion national championships, right? But when he was winning those championships, they only let 16 teams in, and it was very regional. So, like, if he would win the West to get to the Final Four, it wasn't as difficult as going through the East or the Southeast that had like Kentucky and Duke and all those. So you basically kind of like had a cakewalk to the Final Four every year.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Point.
It's tough.
So,
All right.
well, something, but still had the record for like consecutive wins and, all that kind of stuff. Legendary players. Great coach. Worthy number one, but,
Yeah. I just feel like I can find some more value in the second and the third. We're back to basics here. I like Wooden in the first overall spot.
How disrespectful, too, saying there's no colored picture with him on it.
Well, no, I know there's a colored picture.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying I want to stand, shut up. I want to stand alone. I want it like, I want it to feel like there's a little old school.
All right, John Wooden. Number
John
one
Wooden, one overall in the
Overall.
college basketball coach draft.
Chief, you're up, number 2.
I'm taking my favorite coach of my lifetime for college basketball, Jim Calhoun. So Calhoun, he's got 3 national championships. He had great players. He built that program from nothing, and then absolutely electric at the podium. Not a dime back, not giving a dime back. And we make X amount millions of dollars for this university. It took Khalil Okafor.
Emeka
Okafor. Khalil Okafor.
Yeah.
Emeka Okafor and who is the guy? Karan Butler.
Yeah,
Karan Butler.
yeah.
They're not bad. Like, so he has
Was
like
it Ryan Gomes? Was the
the
other guy?
Ryan
Yeah,
Gomes.
Ryan
Yeah,
Gomes,
Ryan Gomes is 265 pounds. So just all-time great press conference moments. He's got the wins. I like the fact that he went from, I think it was Northeastern to UConn. UConn was nothing. They were like a doormat kind of program in the original Big East, and took them to like unforeseen heights. And I think Jim Calhoun is perfect.
I'm ready to poke a hole.
Poke it.
Okay. He did leave, and they instantly won a national championship.
His guys.
Yeah.
And he was sick, and his wife was sick. You want to continue the whole poke?
No, I just wanted to say Kevin Ollie was...
Or what did Kevin Ollie do with his own players?
I don't know about his own players.
He got
I'm just
fired
saying.
in
That's like
like
the
3
most
years.
mysterious era ever.
But I hear that all the
Yeah.
time with Bruce Weber and Bill Self, where it's like Bruce Weber,
Yeah.
or maybe I just supported your point on accident.
Yeah, you did actually.
did.
I'd like to take that back.
You know what the best part too? You know what I love about Jim Calhoun? He was coaching a high school last year. So that guy just loves to get the fucking whistle out and just have kids run sprints. Like, you know what I mean? That's what, like, that guy loves coaching.
Yeah, and like I think there was a story about him, like I think his father died when he was young, so like he had to like support his family like through high school. Like Jim Calhoun is like everything you want out of a basketball coach. Never got in trouble, in terms of like recruiting things, to my knowledge. So I love Calhoun.
Did you ever want to go to UConn because of him? I feel like that's
I did. They had like when I was in prep school, they were like one of the worst college hockey programs. And so naturally I looked at them as being like maybe a place where I might be able to sneak my way as a preferred walk-on. So I did actually look at UConn. I visited the campus and stores and whatever. But yeah, so I love Calhoun.
Frank, any takes on Calhoun?
He's a good coach. That's a great coach right there. I mean,
thanks for coming on, Frank.
number two overall seems like a really big reach, but
I like it.
I mean, personal preferences, man.
Yeah. Well, there are coaches that are probably you're looking at, if you're just looking at all-time wins and things like that I can't stand, and I don't want them on my board, so I'm taking Calhoun.
Trust me, I got a few of those myself.
Frank, did any of the traditional blue bloods, like from our generation, did they recruit you hard at all?
Well, let's wait till we get to him. And
I'm talking about Calhoun. Did you get no?
That's why he doesn't like the pick.
I like that.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go off schools that recruited me, we're not gonna get very far.
Yeah, and he was done at UConn in 2020. So
yeah.
So, all right, Calhoun, 3 titles. I mean, great coach. And you wanted the sound bites. That was a sound bite.
Yeah.
But that's fine because we're not saying like the most accomplished coaches.
No, it's just your coach.
Your roster of 5. Give me these 5 guys.
But he has both. Like there are some guys who have great sound bites that don't have the rings. He's got it both.
I like it. White Sox Dave.
Bobby Knight.
There you go.
Yeah, shocker.
Why is that a shocker?
Because
you love Bobby Knight.
Me too.
What's not to love about, like, I truly think I would have absolutely loved to play for Bobby Knight.
I would agree. I think he would have.
Would Bobby Knight have loved you playing for him?
There would have been a mutual respect, yeah. Like, believe it or not, like, I was a complete clown. But the second practice started through the second practice ended, I was busting my fucking dick to get better, and I think he would have liked that. Even if I sucked, like, he would have liked that.
I could picture you being a Bob Knight whipping boy real easy.
I mean, I would have taken it though. I had to read his book in college, or it wasn't his book. It was a compare contrast from him to another coach that will be drafted eventually, and like I truly think I would have enjoyed obviously not basketball. I never touched a basketball in my life, but I really think I would have liked just playing a sport for him.
He's not here to fuck around this
He's
week.
Basically synonymous with college basketball.
Is Bob Knight an argument guy?
No, he's a do this or get the fuck out guy. That's not an argument. He doesn't hear.
Or he'll choke you.
Yeah, he's a his way or the highway guy. Yeah.
With that choking thing,
officials.
Like, I really think my dad would have walked into his office and been like, "Yo, thank you for that." I really think so. Like, thank you for teaching my son a lesson.
I mean, there has to be somewhat of fear of your college coach. There has to be some.
Yeah.
Because you have to perform to like a certain standard and level, and you knew that, like, obviously Indiana was really good at the time, and if you recruit people that are going to come in and they know the deal, like, you work your ass off and you listen to me and what I say goes, that's how you get success.
Yeah,
for
agree.
him.
Yeah,
like, that's not every coach, but for him, that's how it worked, and it worked, and it's hard to argue.
3 national championships, it says.
But to Carl's point,
he had an undefeated season too.
If people like were listening to this or like they were looking at the graphic, people would for sure think you were the Bob Knight guy.
I love Bob Knight too.
Yeah, he was. I mean, so many the chair toss, like so many legendary moments.
Just the locker room, the recorded speech. I'm not here to fuck around this week. I'm sick and tired of losing to Purdue. Like that whole that rant. I'll fucking run you. You'll think last night was a fucking picnic. Like he had like that quote to me. Like
I'm just scared now.
Yeah, I got like chills now just reciting it.
Oh shit. He's pissed.
I just pulled it up. The other one too. When my time on Earth is gone and my activities here are past, I want there to bury me upside down. and my critics can kiss my ass.
Great quote.
Great quote.
Yeah.
Bobby Knight. All right.
All-timer.
Big time. Frank, you're up.
Bo Ryan.
That was too easy.
I think you do that one.
You don't have to be scared of him anymore, Frank.
I'm not scared of him anymore. Trust me. I mean, he made the tournament all 15 years in a row at Wisconsin, 2 Final Fours. I mean, he had 4 Division III national championships. And I think he has like a ridiculous stat. Like one of his teams in a D3 year, like they gave up like an average of like 47 points a game or something like that.
Was he Norbert's?
UW Platteville.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Give us a good Bo Ryan story of him just getting on your ass for something like missing a screen or some shit.
I remember my freshman year we were at Iowa. And so every single practice there was a scout team that would simulate the other team's players. And then like our first team would obviously be us, and we'd play against their scout team defense and then guard their scout team offense. So it was like 25 possessions of each on offense and defense. And we were doing the defensive one, and I let my guy score, who was supposed to be just some like terrible backup big. I don't even remember who. And he pulled me out, gets in my face, just goes, "If I was 7 feet tall, I'd be a badass. I look at you, and you're not a badass. You're just a 7-foot dork." I was sitting there, I was like, okay. I didn't know what to say. And then I think my first practice in my freshman year, I mean, we used to have to lift at like 6 a.m. and then come back for practices later. And it had just caught up to me, and I was exhausted. And I walked into a practice one day, and he just looked at me and said, "Get out." Just kicked me out of the gym. He's like, "Go downstairs, think about it for like 10 minutes, and come and walk back up with like a better look on your face." I remember telling him, I was like, "This is my face. Like
that's a
this is
South
what I
Park.
look like. Like this is what I look like. Like I can't go like in 10 minutes. I'm not going to be able to change my facial structure."
It's great.
But needless to say, you love the guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially like he used to be super old school. Like everybody had to wear like the same color socks, the same color shoes, like no arm sleeves, no leg sleeves. Like it was really old school. And then like my last 2 years, like 2.5 years, when we started winning and getting better, and we were kind of just a bunch of idiots the whole time, he kind of like laxed and kind of played into it. And
Work hard, play
it's a lot
hard.
more fun. Yeah, it was a lot more fun.
Was he like super scary though? Because he does have one of those faces.
He does have a
Oh,
scary
yeah.
face, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always thought he looked like a badger.
He reminds me a little of John Voight.
He kind of does look like John
Yeah.
Boyd.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It just, he was a great coach. Like he got the most out of his players. That's for sure.
Who did he tear into the most? Like, there's always one whip. Was it Decker? Was it Brust? Like, who you?
Oh yeah.
There were a couple. So we used to do a ton of film, and he used to do little things like he had his player, like his teammates, like my teammates that he would like to poke fun at. Sam was definitely one of them. I was there my first 2 years. I was definitely in the doghouse. I remember my teammate Duye Dukin. He was like our sixth man off the bench. We had a film session one day, and he had done something like all year, and he got it right. So it was like a good clip. And he came up to each one of us beforehand and told us that when the clip comes up of Duye doing it right, that we all got to stand up and give him a standing ovation. So he used to do little things like that where like Duye got the clip right, and we're all just standing up giving him a standing ovation.
You got to appreciate that
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
Yeah.
And then how did your was he always looking at you? How did your Wisconsin? How did that work?
I didn't get recruited. I grew late in high school. I came on kind of later I didn't have very many offers. Like in Northwestern
I
offered
don't want to
me,
hear it.
and my mom and uncle all played sports there, and it was just the weirdest recruiting visit I ever had. I didn't go on many, but it was just really weird. It just kind of sat wrong with me. And then I went on Wisconsin's visit, and Bo actually was like, "You have a scholarship offer," and I didn't expect it because I just didn't have. I had like Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois, DePaul, and Northwestern at the time, and then Wisconsin offered me, and I committed within 2 weeks.
The Wisconsin recruit. Go ahead.
Illinois would have been the school that I wanted to go to, but they offered me a preferred walk-on spot.
Oh, how's it?
Well, it's tough. I mean, I don't think you would have. I don't know how much you would have enjoyed playing in John Gross's system.
It was Bruce Weber at the time, recruiting at the time. John Gross, I think, came after my freshman year or after my sophomore year. I don't remember.
I want to die.
But I don't know if I would have gone there either, because there was already a kid from my AAU. Nana Egwu was already committed there, and we played AAU.
Yeah, I remember Nana Egwu.
Ignatius.
Yeah, he got some big minutes.
Yeah.
You won. Wait, did you win the Wooden and the Rupp and the National Player of the Year and Consensus All-American too?
I won all of them.
Okay. I love that.
It would have been nice.
Egwu didn't. I'll say that.
Dude,
So were you like a guard in high school then? When did you grow?
My first 2 years in high school, I was like a guard. So my freshman year, I was like 6'2". My sophomore year, I was like 6'6", and then by my junior year, I was like 6'10".
Okay.
So I went through like my sophomore year, I could have played on like a varsity team, but I chose not to. I chose to stay down and play with because I moved up to the sophomore team my freshman year, didn't play at all, and then wanted to stay there to play with like the guys that I would be playing with the next couple of years.
Yeah. So you and I are similar, but I started at 5'2", and then I grew. So
Yeah.
otherwise, maybe I would be in the
There you go.
NBA.
Shout out.
Yeah, and I say 6'2" like it was short when I got into high school.
for a freshman, yeah.
Shout out Gene Heinkamp. He just looked up and he just kept going. He's just
Can I put him number one on my list?
yeah.
If I could, I would put him number one on my list.
He's the best, man. He's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all right. Bo Ryan off the board, some home cooking, but I think everyone's okay with that. Very understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a fantastic fucking coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Wisconsin really bad prior in like the mid 90s and
They
earlier?
had that one year with Michael Finley, I know, but
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They before he took over, they didn't have much. It had been like a dip.
yeah.
They were good and then not so good. I can't remember. Was Dick Bennett was there before him? Yeah.
All right.
To be honest, I didn't
Coach.
watch much Wisconsin basketball in the late
Early
90s and early
2000s.
2000s.
Before that.
Shocker. Shocker, Frank.
All right, it's to me. I'm gonna get killed for it, but I got to take the guy from Ukrainian Village, Chicago zone. I'm taking Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K. He just needs an initial. I'm prepared to give for an
Just K.
onslaught because it's very cool to hate K right now, but I mean you got to acknowledge what a guy from this city's accomplished, and he's fucking one of the best of
How
all time.
responsible is Big Cat for like the way the internet has turned on Coach K?
A
He's
lot.
been leading that
A
charge
lot,
for a
and it's
long
upsetting.
time.
It's upsetting.
Now, can you at least talk a little bit about? I mean, Coach K is like very
Yeah.
near and dear. So I'll tell you, our first year on the job, I think NCAA tournament comes around. I hit up Adam like, dude, you and me should get old school Weber jackets because Coach K is from Chicago, went to Weber, and is like buddies with your dad or something, right? And I was like, we should get the Weber jackets out and go follow Duke around like a couple of Chicago Savages and pretend like we're old Weber guys. And Eddie was like, so actually, my dad is an old Weber guy, friends with Coach K. Takes that completely off the table.
So they're not friends, but like him and all his buddies like worship the ground that he walks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're just like because he's their guy from the neighborhood that made it. You know,
Yeah.
and what was it, Discover or whatever card he did, like his like Priceless, whatever it was. It was like he talked about Columbus Schoolyard and shooting hoops there. Like
I
right.
lived right across the
Exactly.
street for 7 years.
And like they just loved him. So I obviously grew up I'm not like a Duke fan, but I always grew up like really liking him. And yeah, my dad actually he made a Facebook post his last game after. No, I swear to God.
Did you like it?
How many years apart are they too?
Coach K, how old is
He's
Coach
older,
K?
right?
He's
Coach
like
K's 75.
75.
My dad's
Yeah.
60. So he's like way older.
Yeah.
So he knew him when he was a kid, and K was like, running up like a way older kid. So, but yeah, he spoke they went to the same grammar school too. And he spoke at St. Helens and then Weber. He spoke in one of those, and he met him there, and they took a picture together. He posted the picture and like
That's great.
wrote like a fucking post to him. So it's
Yeah.
funny. So I guess in honor of that, I'm taking Coach K. You got anything against Coach K, Frank?
Not a fan.
No?
Elaborate.
Can't imagine why.
Nah, I'll leave it at that. Not a fan.
Yeah, I think like the Coach K brand is like way bigger than like he gets way more credit for stuff than he deserves. I feel like that's Like,
You think so,
Yeah, I
though?
think he did an awesome job getting Duke to where they're at. But in like the last, I don't know, maybe 15 years or so, like let's say the John Shire year to me, like in 2009 or so, it seemed like 2009, 10. It seemed like that was kind of like. Since then, it's won the one and dones and all the like McDonald's All American recruiting
Well,
stuff.
he-
I
like
think
the
he
one
had to
and done
change,
shit.
though.
Yeah.
I think he kind of had to
He
adapt.
had to.
He
yeah.
saw what Calipari, well, whatever. He saw what was going around in the landscape, and he's like, well, I'm just going to go get all those kids. And then he did. But I do think that there's just like a holier than thou.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
like-
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get
He
it.
bullies people. He really does.
Has he ever bullied you?
No, not me personally,
No.
but like I'm saying, like to get what he wants.
Yeah.
And I guess you got to earn that respect to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's all
like
about what you go. I mean, at some point
Open up.
you
Frank.
become like a figure and you become kind of too big and you get too much respect in certain situations. And sometimes that respect level that you get gets you what you want and comes at the cost of other people. And that's all I'll say.
This guy's like
very
fucking-
vague darts being thrown in the direction.
Guy's like Peter Baelish. So he's like, he's
Yeah.
got something to say, but he's not going to say it.
Little finger over here.
Yeah, that's what he's putting some subtle things out there.
But to your credit, I think 4 straight Final Fours in the early '90s, 2 national championships,
5 titles.
all-time winningest coach, 1170,
West Point.
a veteran.
You can't deny
Yeah.
his accolades and what he's accomplished at like. Have you been to Duke's campus?
No.
Yes.
Have you been to Duke? It's, for all intents and purposes, it's a tiny little school just in like the middle of the forest in North Carolina.
Yep.
So it's that part of it is impressive.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
I don't like people who have beaten me. So that's just my competitive side.
Yeah, that's
That's
it's a valid
fair.
con.
I
It's a
wanted
valid
you
con.
guys to win that game so fucking bad, man.
How often do you like replay that game in your brain? How often do you does it pop up in your head? You're just like, fuck.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes was when you guys beat Kentucky, Sam Decker. It's like, yeah, this guy's a number 3 rivals recruit. That guy was a number 10. He's like, we got an all-state kid from Wisconsin. We got a kid from the Chicago suburbs that was like all area in the Sun Times. I loved that because that's what you guys were. I know Decker was like a major recruit, but
Sheboygan.
like you guys were just a
But
ragtag group of kids.
Sam was like the odd man out when it comes to like recruiting on our college program.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
he was like a top.
Like
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
like
top,
almost
top.
he was like he should have been a McDonald's All-American. He wasn't, but he was like number 20 or something in the country. I wasn't even ranked in the top 250. I wasn't even close.
Damn.
We had a lot of guys like that.
I loved
Crazy.
it.
It's funny.
So yeah, Coach K. I'm going to round the first round with him. So it's back to me again. With that, obviously a little polarizing. I need to get the heartstrings going. I'm taking
fine.
Jimmy V. Taking Jim Valvano, one of the biggest upsets of all time, one of the greatest speeches ever. Great 30 for 30. Jimmy V.
Are you taking the coach or the speech?
It's
He's
all
taking
one.
the speech.
It's all one.
It's all one. And like that, if you're talking about iconic scenes from college basketball, him running around the court looking for somebody to hug
Yeah.
is like
It's burned into my brain.
It's burned in your brain, and you're gonna see it 10,000 times over the next month. So you can't hate on that pick.
No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
He's trying.
Well, we got
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not hating on Jimmy Valvano. Get that
Italian
look
Ed
outta
over here. Italian Ed over here was definitely taking Jimmy V. It was just a matter of when.
I like that. At least you acknowledge you were pulling at heartstrings.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
a good
like-
pick. It's gonna look great. Jimmy Valvano. It's a great speech. We should draft speeches at some point.
We
I mean, that's a
should.
great
That'd be
fucking
good.
We
speech.
should. That's a good idea.
That'd be good. Jimmy V, Frank, you like that one?
Yeah, it's a good one.
No, we want
For
a
a good
clip of
cause.
Frank talking shit about the Jimmy V pick. Let's get one of those. They hate it.
Oh man, Ty.
It's a great. You can't argue with that one.
Yeah, I needed it too after K. Needed it. Frank, back to you.
Are we doing men's only?
No,
No,
women's is
both.
on the board. Women's on the board.
I'm gonna take Geno Auriemma.
I mean, fucking guy wins.
Can't
I mean,
say
the
no
guy's
to that.
dominated women's college basketball for so long.
Yeah, dude. His
Some
picture,
of his
with,
records are just insane.
his picture with the rings is just like absurd.
Yeah. I mean, is he like he could coach at like how high level? Like, do you think he could just go over to the men's game and coach like I'm not talking about recruiting tomorrow, but like could he pick up a squad and coach them, or how do you think that works?
That's tough, and I've explained this before. Like, my dad was a women's basketball coach growing up. Like, he coached high school and small level college women's, and he always explained the difference between like coaching men and coaching women's. Like, the men's game is so athletic that guys just essentially don't listen because they just try to go make athletic plays all the time. But in the women's game, it's more of like a pure basketball. Like, there's much more X's and O's and much more coaching involved, and you control a lot more when you're the coach of a women's team. At least that's kind of what it was explained to me. Like, I don't know if that's like the case or anything, because I have not been – I mean, I haven't played women's basketball, but
that makes sense for
Yeah,
sure.
that
I
makes a
mean,
lot of sense.
just his system and how he's created his system, and like how he continue. Like, obviously, he gets a lot of the biggest name recruits every single year, and that definitely helps. But just his success in the way he's built that is like UConn to be that school. It's just, and then the records to maintain that success for so long is pretty insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I just like, I went to his Wikipedia here, and if you go from 2007-08 season to 2021, okay, this past year, made the Final Four every single year and won 6 national championships. So like, you can't top that.
Wow.
In a one and done tournament. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
I always felt like UConn could field 2 teams and he'd have them both in the Final Four.
Probably.
You know?
That's probably
that's
true.
A good, I like that.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Geno Auriemma off the board. White Sox Dave, back to you.
I'm going to go right back to that particular well. I'm going with Pat Summitt.
All right.
I can't speak to this because I don't know shit about basketball, but I always wondered if she, obviously, unfortunately, she died of Alzheimer's. She was only 59
Like
years
early
old.
onset, yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't old. She was like my parents'
64.
age. She retired at 60 or 59. But do you think that she could have coached the men's team? And like, because it's tougher, it'll happen eventually, and I think it'll happen in basketball, where a woman breaks the mold and is the head coach, maybe even at a major school. I thought that she would have been the one that could have done that. Because like I watch her coach, and I was like, I wouldn't do it. Like, I'm afraid of this woman. She would be awesome.
Yeah, I definitely think she could do it. And you're right. It's not a matter of like if, it's a matter of when.
Right.
For that to happen. Like, it's definitely going to happen at some point. And yeah, I mean, there's got to be a big respect level, and I think she commanded like a huge respect level from a lot of people. It's kind of like the same thing we've talked about, like coaches, like they have a system, and like you go in and you respect the coach and you listen, and she was definitely like that. And I can remember my dad used to coach against Candace Parker every single year.
Yeah.
Like growing up, and that's like, I remember Candace Parker was like the best basketball player I watched in like all of like where I grew up.
She was Jordan. Yeah.
No, I saw her. They played Fenwick. My sister's team, Trinity. They went downstate, and I saw her play in the state championship against Fenwick. Legitimately, it was one of the most impressive athletes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
She was a senior when I was a freshman, and they played, Naperville Central played at Wheaton South, and like the gym was overflowing with people to go see her play.
Yeah.
No, it was she
My
was on
dad,
like the
my
cover of
dad coached
Sports
at
Illustrated.
Glenbard West.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he was the women's coach at Glenbard West, and they played. She had like 3 dunks against them. It's just like she was just leaps and bounds better than anyone.
And
It
her
was
ball
just- it
handling was
insane.
crazy.
Yeah, she could handle the ball like a point guard.
Yeah.
She was, what is she, probably 6'5",
I think she's like 6'3".
6'3"?
Yeah. Crazy
Yeah,
ball
I
handling.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this isn't true, but in my head it's true. I feel like Pat Summitt invented women's basketball. Like, she was like the person who like brought it
pioneer.
kind of mainstream, and like she was like the face of it, because Tennessee was a powerhouse, I feel like, just before UConn.
And like just like her hair matching the
Yeah.
blazer,
Yeah.
the orange, there was something
Yeah.
about that was really
Yeah.
really
Like,
crisp.
that was like the perfect
Yeah,
job for her.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
she was there for so long. You got to respect.
Yeah,
someone who's-
36 years, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Pat Summitt off the board. Chief, you are up.
I'm trying to decide if I want to go more chalk or if I want to go with a guy, but I think I might be able to get him later. But I love this guy for one particular moment.
Take the guy you love.
I'm going to take the guy I love. I'm taking John Chaney, Temple.
Fuck yeah.
Great pick.
Because of that moment with, I mean, I've already said his name, but that moment where he storms into the press conference was, Temple at UMass, and he's like, I'm going to fucking kill you, up to John Calipari about, I don't even know what it was about, but I remember, watching SportsCenter and seeing that and being like, holy shit, who the fuck is this guy? And, they played, that zone, and you could, just pencil them in your bracket, to the Sweet 16 every year. There was just something about you just write Temple down, and he was electric. And I just, he's just one of those guys that had that face and the respect level. And I thought John Chaney, he's still I wish he was still around because he was an electric guy to just. College basketball is better when you have these big personalities as college as the coaches, and I feel that's kind of gone away
it's a bunch
little
of boring
bit.
guys.
Yeah, it's not the same as it was with. Calhoun and Knight and Valvano.
That is
it's
true.
just not the same. And John Chaney was definitely a personality.
I don't hate it.
John Chaney.
Now, I don't know if I don't know how hard John Chaney coached relative to other coaches, but he certainly looked like it at the end of each game. He's coaching harder than anybody else. The ties dragged out, the jacket's off, the sleeves are rolled up. He's just clapping and yelling and screaming and sweating.
He was always hoarse.
Every game I just felt like John Chaney.
The horse,
Great pick.
the hoarse voice, he's always on the refs back, and it's one of those things where I was a way bigger college basketball fan when I was a kid than I am now. And when I think of the 90s, that's one of those people. And so I'm happy to have John Chaney on my board.
I was worried he wasn't going to get picked, and I'm happy you took him.
Okay, good.
Because he's
so you think it's early then?
I think it's early for sure.
Yeah.
I think you could have got him later, but definitely potentially getting snatched on you.
Yeah.
But you're right. He just looks like he is the prototypical, the guy you don't want to piss off.
Right.
He's like your uncle who's just he'll rip you apart.
I had a 4th round grade, but I was willing to stretch him to 3 if I thought I had a chance there. But,
and
picking first though, I don't like him.
Yeah.
I don't like him in the 3rd round as a first spot, but I love Chaney coming in here.
And there's other names that have more wins, and I don't think Chaney doesn't have any national championships.
I'm not
obviously.
looking at wins necessarily. I'm looking
I
at
have I just pulled up
representative of college basketball.
I have a list here that's the top 150 winningest guys ever. And Chaney's way down. He doesn't have it, but he to me is college basketball. So John Chaney is my guy.
I dig it.
Part of it is also if you were to go back in college and you were a basketball player, who you would want to play for.
Yeah,
I like
That's
that.
definitely got to be part of it too.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to look at it as well. Anything on Chaney, Frank?
Gotta be honest, I don't know much.
No.
Yeah.
There's definitely watch some pressers. He hit some.
Yeah.
He's had some classic moments for sure.
Absolutely.
Carl, you're up.
All right, I'm going to take heavy chalk here. I'm going to take the heaviest chalk left on the board. I'm going to take Dean Smith.
Okay.
I just love the name Dean Smith. It's obviously Jordan, 80s, Carolina Blue. To me, that's obviously before Coach K came, he just made Carolina it's Jordan's Carolina. I don't even know what more to say. I didn't live through Dean Smith's era. He didn't beat any of my teams, but you just say the name Dean Smith, and I feel like you're getting an award. There's but the stakes are fucking high. And everybody who played for him, those guys, fucking obviously Michael Jordan, but the rest of those guys that came in, they talk about him like he's just a fucking legend.
He's a god.
It's the Dean Dome. It's
that's
one
a
of
great
one of the
name.
biggest stadiums in college basketball. I think it's 21,000 people at the Dean Dome, and he made it there. So he's a legend. Very chalk, but
very chalky. Hey, these are not sexy, easy picks to talk about. But I'm giving you guys Wooden. I'm giving you Dean Smith. There's no stories. There's no connectivity here that we can relate to. But I just like the names on the board.
In my head, those are the guys that your parents want you to play for.
Yes.
They're going to sit in the living room. They're going to be polite. They're going to be well mannered. I'm going to take care of your boy, and you believe them. Yeah, and I think that's Dean Smith to a T.
Dean Smith.
So I take these two real good guys because I got to follow it up with fucking all-time scumbag city, and I'm taking John Calipari. I was trying not to. I was trying to work around it, but Cal is just so successful everywhere he goes. And I know, I'm sorry, Frank. I know you probably have some hard feelings about Kentucky or whatever, but
Are we going? I mean, he's definitely probably the best recruiter I've ever seen. Although Kentucky kind of recruits itself to a certain extent, but he still gets great talent every single year and a lot of one and dones and stuff.
So do you guys respect him as a coach, or is like
that's
a guy
huge part of the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is he well respected as a coach, Frank, in the circles, or is it more just like, dude, he just always has the best players? Like, is there a part where you play against him, you're like, man, these guys are prepared, they got good X's and O's, or is it really, it's just like, well, they're fucking better?
Go Dunk.
I mean, yeah, he's obviously, he gets a ton of talent, and he does a great job of getting that talent to the NBA. So that's going to continually get the talent there every single year, because Kentucky's kind of turned into that top stepping stone to the NBA school. I mean, he's had national championships. My junior year, we lost to them, and then they lost in the national championship game. And then the next year we played them in the Final Four again. So obviously he gets talent and he gets a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would have, if that Kentucky team we beat would have won against us and then won the national championship, they would have been the best college basketball team probably of all time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he does do a lot of great things and gets a lot of good talent. He's a good coach, so he does get a lot of respect.
Yeah.
But it helps that Kentucky's been a blue blood for
Forever.
ever.
Yeah. I remember that quote he had, because like it might have been your year actually, Frank, where you guys played him, and they're like, well, you have all these one and dones and blah blah blah. He's like, you're probably the biggest beneficiary of the one and done rule. And he goes, what are you talking about? He's like, you think I don't want John Wall as a senior? You don't think? He's like, DeMarcus Cousins would be a senior right now. You imagine how awesome we'd be if we had those guys as seniors. And so like he always like, so he benefited from the one and done system, but he was always like, oh no.
Yeah. I will never admit it though.
Right, he would never. Which I like that too.
And it's just like you said, I just love his look and like how he's just like, there's something about that. You need that.
That's college basketball
Yes,
too.
you
The
need
slick
that.
back, greasy.
Yeah, like every movie, there's a caricature of him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the guy who's just he's just great. I like it.
Yes.
I like it. Chief, to you.
I'll go back to like my kind of 90s childhood again, and obviously before that too. John Thompson in Georgetown. So just like this another big scary guy, always had like the trademark kind of towel over his shoulder. Had great teams in the 80s if you watched like that. It's one of my favorite 30 for 30s actually, is Requiem for the Big East, where it's a very good one. Talks about the formation of that conference, and Georgetown was at the center of it. Like they were one of those powerhouses. And then when I was a kid, I loved Allen Iverson. It's the only autograph I have. I have an Allen Iverson. My dad was on an airplane for him right before the draft. And I was obsessed with Allen Iverson. I was 9, 10 years old, something like that. And he signed this thing, and I put it in a frame with a Allen Iverson rookie card, and that's the only autograph I have. I think it's somewhere at my parents' house, but that was John Thompson. I love that old Big East, and he was one of the faces of it. So again, maybe somebody who's a little bit down the list, but one of my favorites. So John Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, was there forever too.
You only have one
Definitely
autograph?
a big time iconic coach.
Yeah, big time iconic coach, and then his son coached at Georgetown too.
Yeah,
I think John Thompson the third maybe.
Yeah,
was a coach there. And I think
he was.
Yeah, and then Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, that was big man U for a while.
For sure. Yeah, really, that's it. That is only autograph. Never got Jeff Shantz in the
I was never an autograph.
Not a Balfour laying around.
Yeah, no.
On your ticket, your parents just make you run up to them at the stadium. You know what I mean?
I never
Honey,
thought.
it's Ozzie Guillen.
Yeah, I never got the appeal of it. So even the one that I have, I didn't get it myself. So I know you were an autograph hound.
I did it for probably a couple months of my life.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a phase, I would say, more so.
Okay. Yeah,
I had a friend who
thing.
who was big into it.
Still is.
Yeah, I mean it's a thriller when you're fucking, trying to chase these guys down.
Well, hey Frank, what's your best White Sox autograph? Quick sidebar, if you have one that really stands out.
I don't think I even have one.
We'll get to work on it.
Do you talk to any of the players at all?
Oh yeah.
Who you tight with?
I was close. I mean, I talked to Jake Lamb a lot last year. A lot of
just
the
signed
guys
with LA
actually live
yesterday.
out here in the off season.
Yeah.
I got a good one for you. I got Esteban Loaiza card signed.
What's he doing these days?
Hard time.
Hard time.
Hard time.
Pablo Escobar, man.
Hard time.
Fucking
I was literally fucking 2 feet from him at Sox Fest, and the year he got popped. what was that, 4 years ago now?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
there's Esteban Loaiza. Literally a week later, it's like Esteban Loaiza was like global drug trafficker.
See ya.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank, White Sox Dave and I were at Sox Fest like
It might have been
a couple
that
of years
one,
ago.
actually.
I think it was that one.
It was that
I
one,
think we
maybe.
saw him. And White Sox Dave goes up to Gene Honda, stadium announcer, and he goes, he's got like his phone out. He's got his phone out in his face, and he's like, "Hey, Gene, it's White Sox Dave. Can you do just
I've
like
never
your
said that.
or no?
I
Whatever.
never would.
But I mean,
not,
I'm
yes,
giving like the
yes.
general vibe of going
Yeah,
up
yeah.
to Gene Honda and being like, "Hey, it's whatever. It's White Sox Dave. Can you do your Frank Thomas or like can you do your Paul Canerico?"
And
And
he
he was
told me
like,
to fuck off.
"He's like, absolutely not, man. Get the fucking thing out of my face."
It was very awkward. I thought he'd be like all for it, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna go over here now.
That's fucking hilarious.
That was my favorite. I can still hear the Paul Canerco.
Paul
That was my favorite
Canerco.
player. That's my favorite White Sox player of all time.
That's unreal. All right, John Thompson off the board. White Sox Dave.
I am very excited to hear Frank's take on this one. I'm going with Tom Izzo. Would you have liked to
You-
play for Tom Izzo?
That's the one I was going to do that next.
Oh, he
That's
stole
how
from
it
you.
goes. That's how it
that
goes.
sucks, doesn't it? Yep.
Somebody made the point earlier, and they were like, "It's like who your parents would want you to play for." That would be if my dad could have picked one coach for me to play college basketball for, it would have been Tom Izzo. My
Yeah.
dad loves that guy.
Did you ever get a letter or anything like that from?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
No.
But he
Basketball
is like he is.
recruiting's tough, man.
He's very much like your dad's favorite coach. Like who currently.
I'm surprised how he doesn't have like, if you go and look at like the rankings of college coaches wins all times. Like I'll give you an example. Here's a name I do not expect to be drafted at all. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but Calvin Sampson has like significantly more wins than Tom Izzo. Just as like an example of like what the fuck?
Really?
Yeah, I would not
Really?
have guessed that.
I wonder if
I mean,
he had a bunch of vacated, didn't he?
That's true, yeah.
Calvin Sampson.
Yeah, but
He
Izzo's
couldn't even coach in college
Izzo's
for a while.
45th all time. Now 643 is still a lot. I shouldn't say Sampson
There
has
was,
a lot.
there
Samson's
was
got
like
like 30
a
more.
big
but-
stretch of his career, though, when it was like if you played for Tom Izzo for 4 years, you were going to a Final Four.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
crazy.
That was a big stretch.
So my like earliest memories of college basketball were the Jason Richardson years at Michigan State because my dad took me to go see them play at Loyola, and it was a big deal. The whole gym was green and white, obviously, but we went and Jason Richardson and Zach Randolph, and I was like, these guys are fucking amazing. And I was like 10 years old. He's been doing it my whole life, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
when
he
they're
used to make these videos, and my dad used to sit there and watch them with me. He used to make videos on like all the drills he used to do in practice and like how like his teams and like his philosophies and everything. And I remember sitting there when I was a kid and watching those with my dad.
Yeah, for sure. He's the prototypical.
My dad loves Tom Izzo.
He's the prototypical like when people like kind of say, "Oh, he's only got one thing." It's single elimination tournament. It's tough to win.
Yeah.
It's
It's
super
tough
tough
to
to
win.
win. But like
Yeah.
even when
Yeah.
they're a 5 or 6 seed, not crazy good years. There's a lot of years where it's like, holy shit, here's Tom Izzo again. They're in the Final Four.
I texted Reeks. It was either Sunday night when the bracket came out or Monday yesterday, being like, is this going to be one of those? Because I've been like falling off as a college basketball like completely. I'm like, is this one of those years where Michigan State is going to make a run? And he goes,
Yes.
no, like I don't think so. Like they're not that good. And then in my mind, like our college basketball guy at Barstool, I was like, he's wrong.
Yeah.
Like pencil in,
Exactly.
pencil in Michigan State for a run. I
Why'd
can't
you
name
ask
one
him?
player. Well, because I was looking for like confirmation, and then he
He's
disagreed
like,
with
"No,
me. So I'm
absolutely
like,
not."
no, he's an
Fuck
idiot.
you.
Put Michigan State in the Final Four.
That's fair.
My senior year, they made it as a 10 seed.
right, exactly.
Crazy.
They were in that
Crazy.
Final Four.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Your
And
dad's going to be
Michigan
upset.
State is going to beat Duke in the second round.
That'd be something.
I mean, I've got that.
Do you?
Fuck you, Reeks.
Your dad's going to be upset, but Frank, you're up. Who's going to be the who you making up for? With it here?
That's tough. I mean, I had him loaded in.
Huge name.
This might be an unpopular one, but I'm gonna go with Mark Few.
Ooh.
I was down to Izzo and Few.
I mean, what Few's done at Gonzaga, and like especially the last 10 years or whatever, is pretty. To get people to go, where is it? Spokane, Washington.
Yep.
Eastern
He had
Washington.
as many like five-star recruits to go all the way out to Washington and play at that school, and then have the success they've had. Is pretty. I mean, Adam Morrison feels like it was so long ago. It's been going on since before then.
That was like 2006, wasn't it? I remember
That was a long time ago.
I think I was in high school because the first year they made the Sweet 16, they went on a run, and everyone just liked saying Gonzaga.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like a fun word to say, and no one had ever
And now
heard
they're
of
a
it.
blue blood.
He's been so good that now that whole conference is like he's elevated the entire conference.
Yeah,
'Cause now
St.
San
Mary's-
Francisco is
yeah,
good.
yeah.
St. Mary's makes it all the time. I think BYU plays in
man.
that league now. Like they're like that's just and that's all because of Mark
West
Few.
Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an awesome basketball conference.
Yeah.
I
So,
think
good pick.
I'm picking
We met.
Gonzaga to win
What's
it
his
this year.
face?
Oh, are you?
I think this is the year they do it.
Would you fuck up Chet Holmgren?
I mean, yeah. If I was my senior year in college versus him as a freshman in college, I'd take my chances.
This year they do it, huh?
I think so.
There we go.
Okay. I like that.
They were close last year. I
Yeah.
think this is the year they do it.
Yeah. All right, Mark Few off the board. It's to me.
Hey, let's take a quick break from the college coaches snake draft real quick to talk about our good friends at Miller Lite. Everybody knows how much we like Miller Lite out of the Barstool Chicago office, and that's because Scout's Honor, it's the best beer on earth. It's 96 calories. It's brewed for perfection. Malted barley gives it the rich, balanced toffee note flavor and the golden color you know and love. And a clean finish means it's always refreshing and easy to drink. Guys, we're talking about great tasting, less filling, 96-calorie Miller Lite. This is the number one Pilsner anybody can get their hands on. We're coming out of, St. Patrick's Day. We're in the middle of the NCAA tournament here. You're going to be reaching the cooler for a cold one. That's why I encourage you guys. Reach for a great tasting, less filling, 96-calorie Miller Lite. Since 1975, Miller Lite has been the beer with taste you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks. Just a great beer for people who like beer. And like I said, that's obviously the Barstool Chicago office. We put a lot of Miller Lite down. We encourage you to join us. People like you and your friends. It's Miller Lite. It's great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/redline to find delivery options near you. That's MillerLite.com/redline to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Let's get back to the draft.
I'm going to stay in. This is very Calipari-esque, but not even close. I'm just saying, like, he's got the look.
Okay.
And I got to go with Jay Wright.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I almost took him instead of Calipari because
Really?
he's got a cleaner image and they're still doing the
Yeah.
same thing, man.
Exactly. He's been rumored for every single job under the sun. Will not leave Villanova. Like, he's
Yep.
locked in.
Why would you?
2 titles.
Yep.
More than his, like, Jay Wright's the real deal.
He's made them like a legit blue blood, I feel like. Like they're like maybe not that same class as like Kentucky, UCLA, Kansas, but they're like in that next year. Like they're right there. And and I almost took him too, but there is an element of like he's just too handsome. Fuck that guy. So
He is. That's true.
Although he looked tired and weathered. If you see him now, like the image you have in your head is not like Jay Wright. He was on the selection show and he looked like I don't know. It was the first time I looked at Jay Wright and was like, damn man, Jay Wright's getting old. I'm getting old.
Yeah, he's not the young capo no more. He's not.
No.
He's not. He's in the room. All right, I go again. Complete opposite, but another guy with a lot of charisma, a lot of character. I even though I'm upset he was supposed to come on the Dave Portnoy show today, I got to go with Bob Huggins.
Fourth
Huggy
most all
Bear.
time wins.
It's a shit ton of
909 wins. He's been coaching 40 seasons. I wanted Bob Huggins on my draft board, so I did some research. If I took mine, I didn't know going into this that he's like that significant historically.
yeah. He's a guy, he was on my board of guys I wanted to. And I always think of that Cincinnati team. He doesn't have a title. If Kenyon Martin doesn't get hurt, he probably has one. And like his whole narrative is probably just a little bit different.
He needs one. It's sad. I hope somehow he gets one.
I feel like it's gonna be tough at West Virginia.
I know,
Yeah.
but he's gotten them
Yeah.
to a Final Four.
Yeah,
West Virginia was actually my favorite basketball school growing up.
you're a big
but
Kevin Pittsnoggle
Yeah,
guy.
you
I
like
was a
saying
big
Pittsnoggle.
Pittsnoggle guy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Gansey was so sweet.
Pittsnoggle
It
was the
wasn't,
best.
granted, it wasn't Huggins, but it was John Beeline at the time. But I still love that school.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
And they had the Pat White, Steve Slayton football team.
Yep.
Who is
Great.
the other little number 7? Noel Devine.
Yes,
Yeah,
Noel
Noel
Devine.
Devine.
Noel Devine.
Best high
Yeah.
school fucking tape of all time.
It's like a 5'7", like Devin Hester, basically.
Yeah.
Electric. You like Huggins, Frank?
I do. Yeah.
He's like,
I think
yeah.
he's like on that tier of psychopaths that gets the respect.
Yeah.
I think that we all kind of appreciate. I feel like everyone in this draft appreciates that kind of like militaristic, psychopathic college coach style.
And like to see his transition now where he just takes a seat and he's got the pullover and it's just
Yeah.
everything, it's just
Well, that's the other thing I love about him is he's always comfortable. Like he's not wearing a suit and tie. He's like the opposite of Jay Wright.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm going to be comfy. I'm going to sit down for most of the game.
Why was he supposed to come on the Portnoy show?
just to talk hoops, but
Okay.
he's on the recruiting trail. I got to respect that. He's got to get the guys.
Still grinding, going
Yeah.
after that championship. Yeah.
Yep. Frank, you're up.
Surprised it's kind of like from my childhood, but Bill Self.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised he's kind of gone as far as he has, but I mean his resume kind of speaks for itself. He went from, Illinois to Kansas to completely dominating the Big 12 at Kansas. So
Carl,
I feel like I feel like when you say Bill Self, it kind of just like explains itself. Literally, no pun intended.
One of the highest win percentages like all time of any college coaches active or before. He's in hot water, deep shit. This FBI stuff's no joke. The LSU coach got fired before the tournament for the FBI stuff, and Bill Self is supposed to be the biggest name guy in it. And it has to do with the fact that he got Adidas to pay. He or KU got Adidas to pay players and set up like the companies and like basically hide the money for him. And because they used Adidas, which is big ass company, now the FBI is looking at it. So like Bill Self could very much like be if his career is over because of this, I don't think people on the inside
Are we talking
gonna be,
like restitution and even like probation or jail time?
I don't think it would be jail. I don't think jail time. I think
It's
he's in,
bribery, right?
I think
That's
it's
like
really
a
big,
major offense.
I think it's way bigger than what we typically see, and that's just starting to come out now. Bill Self is a notorious toupee guy. Do you guys know that?
No.
So if you look at Bill Self, it's an all-time. Like he's
really,
yeah, it's hard to shake it once you see him because you just see the bald man underneath the same.
Wow.
The hair is not. If you could pull up a picture of Bill Self from 2004 when he was coaching or 2003 at Illinois when he was coaching at Illinois, and you pull up a picture now, like the hair is not changed at all.
Wow. I would not have. I did not know that. I did not know that.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
here's an insight. My buddy, his was a manager for Illinois under Bruce. His brother was a manager under Bill and Bruce. And he said the big difference between Bill and Bruce is, Bruce would come up to him and be like, how's class? Did you get those things scheduled? And like, are you getting good sleep? And Bill Self would come up and just very casually be like, you getting some pussy tonight? Or like, what's going on, buddy? Like he talked to you as if he was one of your own. And I think that shows in like the recruiting and stuff. But good for Kansas to be as good as they are, as long as they are. I love having Kansas always in like the top 10. And that's a Bill thing.
He gives me like Calipari vibes, but almost in like he's like an undercover like shady guy.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't get like fingered like he doesn't raise the alarm bells the way that Calipari always caught the heat. But I always thought that Bill Self was a little slimy.
I view Kansas and Kentucky as like the same school.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's probably
Like they're like
pretty
the same
accurate.
thing to me.
Yeah.
They're like on the same level.
I know it wasn't like you didn't have to deal with this, but how frequent is illegal recruiting, like paying duffel bags of cash? Or is that kind of all just like
How much did
Hollywood?
Wisconsin pay Sam Decker?
Nothing. I can guarantee you that much. Bo Ryan did it like by the book, like very old school. But I mean, it definitely happens. I mean, I think we all know that it's been happening for a long time. Like, why did Derrick Rose go to Memphis?
Right.
Like, it's just
because Calipari got
it's been
someone to
happening
take
for
his
a long-
ACT.
Calipari, because that's where FedEx is headquartered, I believe it is, and they got his brother like some 7-figure job at FedEx where he just had to like punch his time card at the beginning of the day, punch it at the end of the day, and that was like boom, done. That's what I've heard. Obviously, take that with a major grain of salt.
Yeah, but I mean, I know the shoe companies, and definitely like, I don't know all of them, but like the whole AAU thing and like what team you play for and what shoe company sponsors which AAU team definitely has a lot to do with where people go to college.
Yeah.
At this point. And I don't know how the whole NIL thing, like now where athletes can make money off themselves, like I don't know how much that changes anything.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
But like you see like high school sophomores signing like shoe deals in high school and stuff now. It's crazy.
Getting big money. That's a good point, Chief. I'm going to speak that into existence. That's now a top tier interview that I would like to get is the person who took Derrick Rose's ACT. I feel like we got to find that guy because that guy's got a story to tell.
I wonder, like, 'cause you have to be strategic about that because you can't just pop up and get a 36. You have to take someone who's like just smart enough.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, just get like a 19.
get a 19. Yeah, right. That meaty part of the
just go
curve.
into it knowing the minimum score you need to get.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Bill Self off the board. White Sox, Dave.
I'm going to go with, I think this is like very surprising it hasn't gotten picked yet. Roy Williams. I mean, the
Great
battles
pick,
that him and Coach K had over our entire lives. I mean, that's maybe the best rivalry in all of college sports. Them, OSU, Michigan. Who else? Duke, North Carolina.
That's
1 and 2 right there.
my only gripe with that point at least is I bet you North Carolina people would say Dean Smith. You know,
4th round value. I don't hate it.
yeah,
but
no,
Great value in the fourth.
great value in the fourth. I can't explain it. He's just always rubbed me the wrong way, and I don't know what it is. He seems like a nice guy. The only time I've ever enjoyed Roy Williams was on The Last Dance, talking about Jordan. Like that was the only time I'm like, oh, this guy's sweet.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I get exactly where you're coming from. It's just kind of bland.
yeah,
I'm there too. He's like, he's just like peach pie, kind of like
right.
you know,
Yeah,
take your shoes off. Like, I don't know. There's something about it where it's just not my kind of guy. But he's objectively supposed to be a great guy.
yeah, and the record eventually just speaks for itself. I also feel like I get the opposite. Like no one could be more opposite of him than Bill Self. You know, so it was funny that Kansas went from Roy Williams, who is like this.
Yeah.
You know, would you call him grandma's peach pie?
Well,
or
it's
something?
just like a peach pie, like, you know.
Like
what
I don't know what that means, but I know exactly what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say no one's more opposite than White Sox Dave.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Although similar hair eventually, I think.
He's got good hair. How old is he? 75?
He's up there.
Maybe
My
you
buddy
were
Bobby
related.
played for him. I mean, loves him, swears by him.
Oh, yeah, Bobby
and
Frazier.
Roy's
Yeah.
come out, and since he's taken over the
Sick
program, and I mean, what do you want me to say here? We're talking about personal experience, and I got a little bit of it here, Frank. He came and was recruiting Bobby when we were seniors and stuff, and I remember him hanging out in the weight room, and he made time to talk to kids and stuff, and then came back for a game in December. We were playing Hales, which I brought up as our
on trivia.
in that exact game that I referenced in trivia is a game Roy Williams came out and watched Bobby play. We lost, but he like talked to students afterwards and was around, and he went to the state playoff games too. He like it was so weird. It was like we're playing state playoff basketball. You're in the student section. You're like, this is like the third game Roy Williams has come to this year. It was cool seeing him around.
That
was a cool
cool.
experience
And
to
that-
have like one of your friends get recruited by a big basketball program and like, yo, are you actually going to commit to North Carolina?
That is crazy.
And that's
That's
awesome.
so rare.
And that
too.
firsthand
Yeah.
experience is way more valuable than me saying he's a peach pie guy. So take
Yeah.
Carl's.
No, he probably is. There
Carl's.
was like a funny thing where he was like, I had said to him in the weight room, I was like, hey, are you here for the power forward? And he was like, what? And I was like, here for the power forward, right? I'm the power forward. I wasn't even on the team. And he's like, I'm here for the point guard. Are you messing with me? And I was like, yes. And then at the game, he said in line at the concession stand, we were in line at the concession stand. And he was like, I
Get
thought
some
you were
nachos?
He's like, I thought you were the power forward, dude.
I like that.
And that was like
Yeah,
months
busting
apart. And
balls.
I was like, holy shit.
Oh,
he was like, dude, my job is to
remembered
like
that.
meet and remember young men. So don't.
That's cool.
It's still cool.
That's
though.
actually awesome.
Yeah.
And for the record, if I am 71 years old and have his head of hair, I'm more than
I think you will. I think you will.
It's clinging on for dear life.
Yep.
Roy Williams off the board. Chief, to you.
All right. So I don't know how this one's going to play. This is going back to my not my roots, my 90s. And I can't find him on the all-time wins list. But to me, like, it's Gene Katie. You want to talk about bad hair? The comb over, storming up and down the sidelines. I would have sworn that he's in the top, 25. He's not even in the top 50. Like, I can't find him on the list. But I loved Gene Katie. I actually went to Purdue basketball camp between 8th and 9th grade for
that hair, man.
That hair.
Did your
And,
dad like him? Is that why he sent you to that one as opposed to any of the other number of
yeah,
basketball camps?
actually,
you
yeah.
could've
So
gone
my
to?
dad's boss, when I was in middle school, was Gene Katie's first ever captain at Purdue. So when they would have the Big Ten tournament in Chicago, we would go and we would sit with like the assistant coaches' wives and like all like the family section, and we would always go to like the Big Ten tournament and root for Purdue. And so I went to that basketball camp, and yeah, he was like there but not really there. But like I've met Gene Katie, but like I was a kid, but I just always loved like his presence, and he never got to a Final Four, but to me, like I think he won 3 straight Big Ten titles in the 90s, something like that. But for whatever reason, I guess he wasn't. I don't know if he just wasn't there that long, or was not as good as I remember.
I think it took a while for him to get the program going, and it
Okay.
was like you can be here for a little bit. And he was he the coach there in the famous Bobby Knight? Like I'm not here to fucking lose at Purdue.
I think so, because I think he took over.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he took over in like 80, because
Yeah,
that would
so then,
line up.
like-
Yeah.
And he was there till 2005, I think.
Okay. So
I thought he died. He's still alive.
do you
85
know
years
that
old.
he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Did
Oh,
not know
really?
that. That's a good little fun
yeah,
fact.
so he went to Kansas State and was like a very good football player. He got drafted by the Steelers.
That's more like me when I'm Gene Katie's age.
Okay.
His hair?
Yeah.
It was jet
That
black.
sounds
I don't
tough.
know if he dyed it, but he had like
I
that.
would say he dyed it.
well,
That,
who knows?
that
So did
looks
your
like-
coach.
Who knows? Well, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have thoughts on Gene
Bruce
Katie?
Weber had a nice story about
I
him.
love it. No
This
one
past
else will.
week.
yes,
Mhm.
I
I do. My uncle played at Purdue,
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
okay.
Let's go.
sick flex,
so
right?
he speaks highly of him.
Okay.
That's
When
good.
was he there?
Didn't they used to? I think, gotta be honest with you, I don't even know the years, but they used to do that thing. Didn't they put like a word on like the back of your shorts? They did something like they put a word on the back of your shorts. It was like hustle or something. And by the end of the year, from like taking charges in practice, it had to be like worn off the back of your shorts.
I didn't know
or
that. I
something
haven't
like
heard
they
that
used
story.
to do,
That's
like,
fucking awesome.
They used to
That
do like
is
stuff
awesome.
like that. Like Gene Katie was like the guy that did stuff like that.
That's unbelievable.
That's a great
so
fucking
sick.
story. Yeah.
Do you have any more of those
Yeah,
stories?
from like
any-
sweat and like taking charges and stuff. He wanted it to be worn, like whatever the word was, to be worn off the back of your shorts.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's
That's great.
awesome. All right, Gene Katie's off the board. Carl, you're up.
I'm going to take the most dominant college basketball coach of our lifetime for sure. I'm taking Billy Donovan. Billy
Ooh,
Donovan,
that's a good one.
like just ran through NCAA tournaments. He was so good he had to leave, and he's been so good that he can't come back. Like I feel like Billy Donovan is, if he was still in college basketball, like I don't know, would he have another 3 or 4 more titles? And it's not like he won it with X's and O's alone, or he won it with recruiting alone. Like they literally had the best teams, the best players. They won. They just dominated. The year when they had Corey Brewer. And they had
Joe.
Horford and Joe,
Yep.
and you had was it Walsh or who was number 12?
Yeah,
Yep,
he would
Matty
just
Walsh,
fill it
yeah.
up.
Yeah, like, you just every guy in their own respective position was like the absolute best.
They had
power
that
forward,
point
best
guard
center, the
that
best-
was like Greek or some Nick Kalafis or something like. Was do you
I think
remember
he
that?
came a little bit later, but
That
he
was,
was a high
I think
draft
that was
pick.
after.
Yeah.
That dude was
It was
so
after that team.
fucking good, and he just didn't want to play in the NBA or something. What was the story?
Yeah, well, he's Greek and he has a Greek past. I'm pretty sure he's like one of the highest paid guys in the EuroLeague.
Oh.
Oh.
He was unfucking believable as a point guard, and just whatever reason didn't.
The back-to-back titles.
I mean,
are
dude,
just
it went back to
unstoppable.
back. Like,
Yeah, how do you
that's-
go back
Has
to
anyone
back?
done it since? I don't think so, right?
That's so hard to do in
think
any
so.
sport,
I don't think,
And
especially with all the one and done.
Yeah,
It's
stuff.
fucking crazy
Yeah.
to go back to back.
So my only gripe, and I'm so glad he's with the Bulls, so I don't want people to take this the wrong way, because I love having him. But my point earlier about how college basketball doesn't have like the big name personalities anymore.
He's like a boring.
Oh, so I think he is one of those names. I think like, if he were still in
Sure,
college,
he's one of those names.
yeah, I think if he were still in college
Chewing the gum
basketball,
hard.
you would be like, oh, there's Billy Donovan, and he like I think he went to a Final Four at Providence as a
As a
player.
player, he
player,
did. Yeah, as a player, as a point guard.
And yeah, so it's just like that is. I wish, like, I love that he's the coach of the Bulls. Part of me wishes he never left college basketball.
Yeah, I understand. It is kind of diminished that he like is coaching in the NBA now, and like he's technically not a true college basketball guy. But
Oh, it counts.
like when in our lifetime, I felt like he was just bulldozing the NCAA. Maybe I'm right. He kind of left later, right? Didn't he? He didn't
Yeah.
leave until like 2014
Yeah.
or 15. So maybe I'm
15.
completely wrong.
I played against him. I think it was my sophomore year.
Okay.
Oh,
Played
shit.
at Florida, and he was still the coach there.
Any run-ins? Any take on him even now in the NBA?
I mean, I know he's got a lot of respect.
Yeah.
He's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just weird how the whole Oklahoma City
Yeah.
thing worked out, where He just like kind of like, I'm done coaching here. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And instantly takes the Bulls job. And I mean, it says a lot as an NBA coach when you're like, I'm done here, and then you instantly become like the biggest name on the coaching market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. That really does. I saw his name is on the court,
Yeah.
which kind of throws me off too. You know, like he's just so.
He's not an old guy.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
he's so
50.
young and he's still coaching. It's weird seeing Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
But good pick, Carl. Again, we'll enter the 5th round and we'll wrap up here.
Well, I gotta have his own defense, guys. I'm doing it.
I hate him.
I'm taking Jim Boeheim. I'm
Yeah.
sure people hate him, but it doesn't matter. The guy just has tremendous success. He does it. I love the way he does it. I love that we're gonna talk about the same shit again. Like if they'll upset somebody and it'll be like they did it with the zone defense and they're hard to
It's
play
like
against.
him and
these
Tom
guys
Izzo
come from
every
nowhere.
year,
Yeah.
And that the championship he won in 03 is that team is
That
just
mellow,
so fucking
yeah.
sweet. Jerry McNamara.
Was McNamara on that team?
I think he
Fuck
was,
He was
yeah.
a freshman.
Yep.
Yeah, he was
I thought
awesome.
he was later, but yeah, I mean, again, same thing. Like results speak for itself. There's something about him that it just rubs me the wrong way, and always has.
He's a world class asshole.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean,
he's a screamer and he expects this and that, but like the guy's got 900 something wins and
and it's just like
Doesn't teach anybody how to play any defense whatsoever.
is that true? Like if a Syracuse guy
I
gets
mean,
to the
if you're
league,
just sitting at 2-3 zone all the time, that's not really playing defense. That's just hoping the other team has a bad shooting night.
yeah,
When you put it that way.
yeah.
all right, Frank.
But it is kind of
It doesn't
if it
translate
works.
to your
Yeah.
level now, but I like him coaching.
You would
the
have liked to
college
play
team.
a 2-3 zone, though, right? I mean, hang out a
I
little
mean,
bit?
yeah, if I could have just stood in the middle of the paint and saved all my energy for offense, that'd have been great.
Jeez, Frank.
So you don't like the pick. You don't like Jim Boeheim.
I mean, it's hard to argue that he's a super successful college coach. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Man,
Something about just playing 2-3 defense all game, every game, just like this is what we're doing and we're not changing.
Yeah,
Kind of rubs me the wrong way.
there is a like.
But
kinda
it always
like
works.
it.
He's always like that guy that's like a 10-11 seed and makes like a sneaky Final Four run.
Yep.
No one's prepared for
Like,
that
it always
2-3.
happens.
Yeah. Well, and it is like I said, I don't really follow college basketball anymore. Like I definitely have not watched Syracuse play this year. I know exactly what type of team they have.
Yeah.
Like they have long,
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
long athletic guys that close out on the wings. They got like they got some shooters, and they got like a rim protector.
Their son's the little.
remember Fab Fellow or
Yeah,
Fab
it's his
Dello or
son.
Fab Mello.
Fab Mello.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
His son's
really?
that cocky little douchebag white dude that
Buddy?
every fucking team has seemingly. That it's like, how's that kid still in
He's got
college?
2 sons.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
and
it's
why
his
are they so
second son.
young?
I think he's got 2 different sons.
That's
play
his
for-
second
Yeah,
son?
I think he's had 2 kids play
young
for Syracuse.
kids.
Yeah.
Jim
He has 2
Boeheim.
sons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Buddy. He's.
I mean,
I
the
think
same
his
thing.
story.
Jordan Bohannon in there right now. It's like that kid's been in college for 12 years.
Who was that one guy that had the white guy with all the tattoos that I fucking hated?
It was,
Oh yeah, Dieseldorf.
Something like
Eric Devendorf.
Devendorf, yeah.
Dusseldorf.
I just want to go on the record. Fuck that guy.
Dude, Devendorf
Oh, he
was
was
come
cool.
on, man. He
I
was a
fucking
G.
hated
He's a
him. I
baller.
hated
That's
him.
like a compliment though.
Andy Routens, like that was those guys.
Andy
That was
Routens.
fucking-
Remember when Jerry McNamara? They can't. Jim Boeheim. Can I take Jim Boeheim in the Big East or something about Syracuse and the ACC? It doesn't
That
say as well.
is a
Jim
good
Boeheim
point,
in the
too.
Big East. Those Big East tournaments. Pittsburgh versus Syracuse going into 7 overtimes.
I think that the ACC has kind of neutered him a little bit.
Yeah, because they're all.
He was such like a good villain when he was in the Big East.
Big
and
East is
that's-
way cooler than
Yeah.
the
But
ACC.
that's the thing. Like Frank brings up like actual real good points about the 2-3 zone.
We just
like
bring
that.
up assumptions.
Well, ours is like we're just old school and we're just meathead basketball
Yeah.
fans and we love it. That it's like the triple
Yeah.
option. You know, like
Yes.
I love that nothing changes.
If there was a college team like in football that ran the triple option and had like a level of success that Boeheim has
Yes.
with the 2-3, I would fucking love that
For
team.
sure.
Yeah.
Paul
Great.
Johnson.
Be great.
What's his name?
Paul Johnson, yeah, Georgia Tech.
He got ran out of Georgia Tech,
Yeah, he's done.
unfortunately.
All right,
Never had a play sheet. You just call it from the head.
It always works.
it's good. Chief,
Homer pick, but I love him. I think he's maybe one of the more underrated guys of our lifetime. Mike Bray.
yep.
Mike Bray.
They haven't been in the tournament until
They're
this
in
year.
the
and,
tournament.
Matt
They missed it
Painter's
last year. and I
such a
think
better
that was it.
coach.
Like 4 years, I thought.
No,
I thought it was 2017.
I don't
Mike
think
Bray's
so.
a chump.
You're a chump.
His turtlenecks kill me, Chief.
He multiple Elite Eights, clean program, does things the right way. He's competed in the ACC. He's competed in the Big East. He's had success in both conferences. He took a basketball program that was basically non-existent You know, they think they had like one like decent team with Digger Phelps in like with the the highlighter guy in like the 70s, and that's it. And then he made them like a perennial tournament team for like 15 years, and now they're back.
Pick stinks.
I like him.
I love Mike Bray.
Mike Bray, Frank?
I'm with. No. Well, Notre Dame, no. Mike Bray, fine, but Notre Dame,
Frank.
no.
And what about what about Notre Dame in particular, Frank?
I don't like Notre Dame. I don't like Notre Dame people.
Thank you.
Dude, Frank would be so dangerous in this
where
office.
where we grew up. I went to a Catholic high school. Like everything's Notre Dame this, Notre Dame that. And I just got so sick of it at one point.
Thank you.
It makes me not like how much people talk about it. I can't like it.
Do you agree with me though, Frank? I was just, you'd be
There's
very
like 35
dangerous.
kids from my high school graduating class that went to Notre Dame, and every one of them let you know individually that that's where they were going to college. And I was like, cool.
Ben, it is?
Big feeder.
Nice.
Notre Dame, man.
Yeah. I'm sorry Mike Bray did not recruit
I didn't
you.
know that.
Don't hold that against us.
He did recruit. He did. He called
he
me
did?
and I said no, thank you.
Really?
No.
Get the
That's
fuck
why I
outta
love
here.
Called
Frank
me to
Kaminsky.
recruit me, and I said no, thank you. And I remember my grandma pulled me aside at like a family party and was screaming at me because my grandma's huge Irish Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
She was so mad. I was just like, I'm not going. Like, I would not go. Even if they offered me a scholarship, I would not go there.
Stop,
Wow.
dude. Are you kidding me?
I love that.
So you would have
Yeah.
chosen, let's say that Wisconsin and Northwestern didn't come knocking. You're down to Southern or Notre Dame. You're going to Southern.
I would have went to Bradley.
I love
Jesus
it.
Christ.
I
No, like
love
that
it.
serious. Like I would have. Like,
No, I believe you.
I
Good
would've
minor
went
league
to
baseball
Bradley
stadium
before
there
that.
too.
I swear to God, and I was never even close to being in this position, but if I were in a position of choosing between Bradley or Notre Dame, Bradley. I'm going to Bradley. I fucking hate Notre Dame.
I
that
believe
much.
him. I don't believe him.
I swear to Christ, I am not touching
Holy
Notre
shit.
Dame.
Sounds like an anti-Notre Dame guy right there. He swears to Christ.
It's true.
I like everything he's
Clean
just
up,
said about
Dave.
Notre Dame is like I couldn't.
I
that's
look at
me.
I understand that.
In
I
Lent.
don't like the class ring guy. Look at Notre Dame people are douchebags. I understand that. I get it. The class ring.
Rudy's the most overrated sports story maybe in the history of the world.
But
Movie
it's
sucks.
It is
It's not-
a very good Irish movie.
It's
No, it is
not
good. The
even-
movie's good, but it's Hollywoodified.
Is it an Irish
I
movie,
love
Frank?
Rudy. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. It's a great
Yeah.
story. If you put that, I mean,
I heard they're all world class assholes. Actually,
I've heard that too. They've like a lot of the
he
brothers
came on
are
our
in
show.
St.
He
Charles.
was good though.
I don't remember that.
He came on Sirius, remember?
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they got to walk on.
Mike Bray.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Well, hopefully this gets back to Mike Bray and he comes on Red Line Radio.
I think he's like a good personality though. Like I think like
Yeah.
when he's like when
Yeah.
he chops it
I'm
up.
sure
I
he's a
think
great
funny.
guy, and he is a good coach. It's just I wouldn't want to go
Notre
to
Dame.
Notre Dame.
That-
That's just my personal.
That's fine. What if Mike Bray was coaching at Northwestern when they recruited you? Would it have been more of a toss-up then?
Hopefully, the recruiting visit wouldn't
Dude.
have been as weird as it was.
Frank, I've heard stories about that. Never firsthand, obviously, about your recruiting because I'm a diehard Northwestern fan, which is painful to say. But I've heard stories about that, and it's like embarrassing.
Can
Yeah.
you?
So I'll tell what happened.
Yeah, I was
so,
gonna say you gotta tell me.
like Northwestern started they started recruiting me like basically first because my mom played volleyball, my aunt played basketball, and my uncle played basketball there, and they were all there at the same time. So it was like big Northwestern family, and I went on the visit. Obviously, I played pickup basketball with the team, and at the time, like Bill Carmody was a coach.
Yeah.
And he knew I was coming on this visit, but at like the last minute, he decided to like take a vacation or something. I don't know. And he wasn't there. And it was basically just his assistants. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not even meeting with like the head coach of the team. So what he did was had me go in his office and sit down at his desk. And he called his desk phone and offered me a scholarship.
Jesus.
And my mom was just looking at me like, this is so bizarre. Like, this is really weird. And then I just went around the campus and it was just like awkward. And I was just like, my mom, like the whole time was like, I want you to go to Northwestern. Like
Right.
Northwest, like you'd be like the next line, you'll be close to home. We can come to every game. And then after that visit, my mom was like, yeah, you like Wisconsin. We'll go see what Wisconsin's like.
She was crushed, huh?
She was just like that. I mean, obviously my mom was on campus and she knew everything. It was just like bizarre. We like went to the cafeteria. Like that was one of the like
How'd they get anybody
like
to
the
go
student
there?
cafeteria. Like
Well,
I was just like, what is this? And then Wisconsin's taking me to like all the cool points on campus, like the terrace, the Capitol building, like meeting with the president of the school, like the whole coaching staff is there. Like I'm meeting all the players, like going through the locker room, like doing all this cool stuff.
Cole
And then-
Center.
Dude,
Yeah,
what
like-
a blessing though that was so weird, right? Could you
Yeah.
could you imagine your career at Northwestern?
Princeton offense.
I mean, if the Northwestern visit would have been better, I would have considered it. I think ultimately I would have chose Wisconsin, having visited both,
Yeah.
because I like the separation from home, and like I thought Wisconsin fit me better. But like the Northwestern visit was just so it was just so awkward that I was just like, yeah. And I mean, even my high school teammate went to Northwestern.
Yeah,
we played
Saluski.
basketball from like third grade all the way through senior year in high school together.
Damn. That's crazy.
did you tell him when he committed? Were you like, "Yo, dude, you like the cafeteria?" Or
No, he definitely that was more like he was a smart kid, and like
Yeah.
definitely wanted to go the academics route, and I was one of those people. I was like Cardale Jones. I didn't go to, or whoever said it, I didn't
Yeah,
go to
that's
college
right.
to
Play school.
I didn't go to college to play school.
you got your degree though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you played school.
life good, big time life science communications major over here.
That's all you need.
It's coming through on this podcast.
Got it.
That
I got
communications.
that piece of paper. I'm a bachelor of science.
Man.
That's
And we should things are different there now though, Dave. We got a good relationship with Northwestern, so it seems like it's nice.
yeah, they're good guys.
Yeah, for sure. Fits, football
Yeah,
side,
Fitz
everything.
Fitz is the best.
Yeah.
All right, so Braves off the board, White Sox, Dave, you're up.
So I will preface this by saying I absolutely fucking hate this guy's guts. I hate this guy.
I'm writing it down.
Who is it, Ed?
I don't want to tip it, but
It's
it?
Rick Pitino.
Yes, that's who I wrote.
But I mean, the whole aura of the draft is college basketball. Like, if have you seen the program, Frank, the movie, the football movie?
No.
Have you guys seen the program? Please tell me. Someone's
Years
seen
ago.
it. Okay, it's basically it's a movie that satirizes. It's a fake college football program, and there's kids taking steroids. They got a dirty coach who's paying players. They got the world class, all world running back. It's all that shit. Rick Pitino is like if they had a basketball version. I feel like just a dirty fucking scumbag of a coach, always in trouble, multiple recruiting violations, hookers, drugs, all of it. And I feel like that is just part of
Cocktail
college.
waitresses.
That whole thing. It's like that's part of college sports as a whole. And Rick Pitino was like the ringleader of all the dirty college coaches.
There you go. Don't hold back, Dave.
He's still going with Iona too, right?
Yeah.
And they're pretty good,
They
aren't
made
they?
the tournament last year, right?
Last year, yeah. They didn't make it this year.
How that guy's even allowed to coach is beyond
Crazy.
me. Like he's
But see,
an
like,
awful human being.
He should be able to, though. Like,
Because he's a good coach.
yeah, and you're like, you know what? They're all guys you know?
I mean, we'll find out if Bill Self is in a lot of trouble or not, but like he like was the pioneer of just dirty college basketball.
There is an element that I kind of respected where he went to the Celtics,
Yeah.
and then because he had won a national championship in Kentucky, a couple of Final Fours, and then he's like, you know what, I'm coming back and I'm going to their arch fucking rival.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like going to Auburn and then coming back and coaching Alabama. Like it's just unheard of.
And he just looks
Oh,
like a dirty.
yeah. Oh,
and his
yeah.
son exudes it too. His son's out at Minnesota.
He got fired, right?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like his son.
No.
He had the most punchable face of all time.
Richard.
Not even that. I just wasn't a fan when we played against them.
Or is he like a little snarky? What was his deal?
I don't he used to say stuff to players.
Oh, really?
It's like you're like a 45-year-old man. We're like 20.
Stop.
Wait, what?
Patino, I mean, speaks for itself, Dave.
Yeah.
Rick
Yeah.
Pitino. All right, Frank, your last pick.
Brad Stevens.
It's a good pick.
Was a pretty short-lived college coaching career, but I mean, to take Butler to
Back
was
to
it
back.
national championship game
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
twice,
Not easy.
and honestly should have won one of them. Wasn't that like the worst shooting performance by two basketball teams in like
when they played
championship?
Connecticut,
UConn.
the Kevin Ollier.
Yeah, it was the worst
it was
basketball
so
game I've
bad.
ever seen.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
They could have shot the ball from half court every single time and probably ended up at the same score.
Probably.
Did you play those Butler teams, or who was the center? Matt Harris, the guy with the creepy thin mustache, or
Matt Howard.
Howard?
Howard,
Yeah,
54.
that's right.
He was good. He was there for like 6 years.
Yeah, and then Ronald Norred was actually an assistant coach of mine. He was like their defender. Obviously, Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
Who else was on that team?
Matt.
Shelvin Mack.
after that.
Shelvin Mack.
Yeah. I was actually teammates with him in Charlotte for a year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Good guy?
Yeah, but those were really good. And I mean, for Brad Stevens to parlay that and going from Butler to being the head coach of the Celtics, I feel like is a pretty big deal.
For sure.
He's
Now,
another.
now he runs their whole? Doesn't he run their whole organization or something?
think he's
Didn't
the
he, take over
GM.
for Danny Ainge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the GM. It's like a meme or a joke at this point, but like I really do wish he was the next coach at Indiana. Like I want Brad Stevens back in college basketball, and I would like him if he would go to Indiana. I would love it if Indiana would get good again. I don't give a shit about Indiana really, but they're like a blue blood. It's been down.
Well, you didn't
for
hear they
so-
won the national championship last week during our snake draft.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I got murdered by Indiana fans all weekend. Those people they're relentless.
they're pests.
They're unbelievable.
They are
Indiana guys
pests.
just don't go away. Iowa guys, I don't give a fuck. They're like, whatever, we go to Iowa. It's awesome. Like Wisconsin people the same way. They're just like, yeah, whatever. We go
Yeah.
to Wisconsin. It's awesome. Indiana people just live and breathe.
Yeah,
by it.
they pop out of the woodworks for college basketball season if they're like, got 18 wins and, might be able to pull off a 22-win season. It's like they come out of the woodwork like roaches.
They were loving college football before the college football season this year too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They were all
yeah.
about
Oh, yeah.
Indiana football. Never heard a thing about Indiana football before this season.
We,
3 weeks into the season, they were dead
Yeah.
silent.
Well, they need a reason to.
We gave them the Red Line Radio curse. We had their coach on
Coach Allen, yeah.
Yeah, Coach Tom Allen at the end of August, and like we loved him. He was great. And I was buying in. I'm like, I think I bet Indiana maybe the first couple weekends, and then it was like, oh, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Don't come on red line in season, Frank. Just like don't fucking do it to your career. Just it's not worth it.
It's in season, oh.
He's gonna like.
I don't
slip.
But
believe
this is
it.
dog walk. This is dog walk.
Oh, that's
Yeah, oh,
true.
yeah.
when we do
true,
like serious
true.
sports interviews with people, like literally their seasons fall apart.
Stay far away.
Yeah. He'll probably like slip getting in the
I'll
shower or something.
Fuck, I shouldn't even.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Frank, fuck you.
All right, last pick to me, Mr. Irrelevant. There's like so many decorated coaches still left, so many characters, but I'm going to take a personal pick for Chief. He just got fired, actually. I really like Frank Martin.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
He's a character.
Yeah, he's a
I didn't
character.
know he got fired.
He
Yeah,
just
he-
got
By
just-
taking Frank Martin, you just took Brad Underwood, so I want to say thank you. Because they're like tied together. That's his guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that's
like
his guy.
I mean, he's like he's a fucking bouncer, dude. He's the all-time guy. Like you don't want to
He's
piss
like a
off.
drill sergeant.
No one could yell as much as him. He's like, and I hope he's true to his word. Like he's got some cool clips out there about how he cares about the players and like how like
Yeah.
he's loyal to them.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know if you have any interaction with him, Frank, but I love Frank.
It's
Martin.
like here's the thing about college coaches. Like what you see when they coach on the sidelines is not how they always are with players. And
yeah,
that's just what you see. And I feel like from what I've heard about Frank Martin, it's like, yeah, he's very serious on the court and gets like heated, but like with his players, like he really cares. And like
love
will do
that.
anything for him.
yeah. Like he's like, I commit to you not for 4 years, for your life. So seems like
Oh,
a good
love
guy.
that.
Yeah, seems like a good guy. So I'm happy to get him last.
So he took Underwood. Underwood was like coaching for him at Kansas State, and then there was something where Underwood was at a community college, and like he went out of his way to make sure that Brad Underwood got back into Division I coaching because he was like, "You're such a good coach," and there was something that had happened out of his control. So then he went to a year with them at South Carolina, and I just know that's like a personal thing. I know where Frank Martin like literally went out of his way to be like, "No, you're a Division I coach. You're coming up to South Carolina. I don't care what it takes, and I care the circumstance." And then from there, he went to Stephen F. Austin, and he helped them get into Stephen F. Austin.
They
Was, like,
beat
very
Duke.
instrumental in
Was
making
it?
sure. So and that's just like recent stuff that I heard about, just like
That's
how
cool.
awesome Frank Martin is.
That's cool.
Love
Yeah.
that guy.
I didn't know. I mean, they went to a
Psychopath.
Final Four, right?
Yeah, they've had some bad seasons since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
It
I
was
saw.
in 2016,
Yes,
Yeah.
and Darius Thornwell.
2017.
Yeah.
It was. I saw a tweet yesterday. I forget who it was. It was Frank Martin just got fired, and it was him and Chris Collins that were the last two, the only two active coaches that hadn't made a tournament in the last 5 years. And now Chris Collins is the only one, and they just retained him.
They did.
Tough. Tough.
Yuck.
All right, I'll name them down one more time, and we'll do some honorable mentions. We'll get out of here. Carl, John Wooden, Dean Smith, John Calipari, Billy Donovan, Jim Boeheim, Chief, Jim Calhoun, John Chaney, John Thompson, Gene Cady, Mike Bray, White Sox Dave, Bobby Knight, Pat Summitt, Tom Izzo, Roy Williams, Rick Pitino, Frank, Bo Ryan, Geno Auriemma, Mark Few, Bill Self, Brad Stevens, Eddie, Coach Gay, Jimmy V, Jay Wright, Bob Huggins, Frank Martin. Any other ones you didn't get to, Frank, that you would have liked to give a shout out to?
No.
Anybody else?
Maybe John Beeline.
Yeah, I like him
Because of those West Virginia teams when I was a kid. And he had a lot of success at Michigan, too.
Mm-hmm.
I just have two. I don't really know much about Jerry Tarkanian or whatever. I just know I love those teams.
The towel.
Like, yeah.
I was between him. Too,
Yeah.
Well, I thought for
pick.
sure you were going Majerus. I had you. I
love
wrote in
Rick
Rick
Majerus.
Majerus for you, and I was like, "Come on, Eddie."
On my
Rick
life,
Majerus.
with that last pick, I was between Frank Martin, Rick Majerus, and Jerry Tarkanian. I could show Dave the list.
He was great.
You
The
know.
Utah team with
Yep.
Andre
Keith Van
Miller,
Horn.
Keith Van Horn.
Yep.
Yep. We Sutton, Lute Olson. Those are like
Lute
when we
are
were
great.
kids. Like
Lute
the-
Olson was a good one.
Two
He probably
legends.
should have been picked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Todd Raridan, Frank. Do you know the Raridans?
No.
It's the North Central
think so.
coach.
No.
Jim Larinaga. I like Jim Larinaga.
I mean, I'll give Lou Henson the shout out he deserves. Obviously,
Yeah.
But that's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
Lou Henson, obviously, but
I'm trying to think of like other 90s.
and I like
Wasn't
Bruce
like
Weber.
Ad-
The Bruce
didn't
Weber.
Like Adolph Rupp. Didn't like Adolph Rupp have like the most wins for Coach K?
He's in the top 10 for sure, but extremely racist.
Yeah,
So,
not the best guy to.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
okay. We don't like him. Frank? Can I ask you a question while White Sox Dave Krell's his honorable mentions? I'm just curious. How would you explain to a group of morons like us the difference between like a good college coach and a good NBA coach?
A good college coach definitely runs a system and has people buy into a system. And you have like a template for your teams. And obviously you're a good recruiter and you don't have people leave you. I think a big success for college coaches is when you don't have people leaving your program. You don't have a lot of people transferring out. I mean, you think of Bo Ryan, I just think Bo had a system and it worked and it had like a lot of success. So that's who I played for. And then a good like professional level coach, like definitely manages egos really well and makes people buy into like a culture of like working hard and doing all that stuff. And, our team this year, we have like a culture and an identity and everyone kind of buys into it and we're the best team in the league this year. So that's definitely like a big part of it. And a lot of that has to do with like our head coach making people buy into the system and buy into like each other. Cause in NBA teams, there's players that are making like 10 times what the head coach is making. It's just with the money and everything involved, it just makes it different. So you got to make people kind of all come together and buy into each other in a team. And in college, like the college coach kind of being this guy up here that gets their players to come up to a certain level is kind of what it's all about.
Yeah. It's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious.
It's a good answer.
Oh, for sure. All right, Frank, thanks so much, man, for hopping on and hanging out with us for an hour and a half.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully the Bulls play the Suns, and we'll
Yeah.
We play
Still-
them. We play them Friday.
Oh.
We already played them there. We played them Friday here.
Are you still a Bulls fan at all? Assuming you grew up a Bulls fan, or do you kind of lose that?
No. They'll always be like a part of like my childhood and everything. I think that's how. I don't know. I feel like most players who cheered for a team growing up, and then I had my aunt actually worked and coached for the team for a long time. My uncle was a scout there.
Oh wow.
So I had a big connection to the team growing up.
Okay.
So like, yeah, I mean,
Can you be like, well, I like it now than I did better than like 2 years ago for the Bulls? Can you give us that? Like they're good now. No, not even that. Okay.
no,
All right.
I knew when you get drafted, like your allegiances to like the teams you cheered for growing up. It's like
They die.
everyone's like, yeah, who's the team you cheered for growing up? And I think everyone would be honest, but like you don't have a favorite team. You have a favorite team. It's the team you play for.
Yeah.
What if hypothetically the Cubs drafted you? That's different.
Sorry, I just got some like song noise. But what?
I
what'd you
said
say?
hypothetically, what if the Cubs drafted you?
No.
All right, Frank.
We're on the
That
same
is
page
kinda-
again.
If I was a baseball player and the Cubs drafted me, I'd have held out. I wouldn't
Not
have
signing. I love it.
No, not
Neither
signing
would
a
I. I
contract.
don't put $100 million of not signing it.
Notre Dame or the Cubs? Who gets you going more, Frank?
The Cubs.
Yeah.
I hate the Cubs a lot more.
I love this.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
I truthfully, like deep down inside of me, I hate the Cubs. Like, it's not like I just say it and I don't mean it. Like, I hate them.
I hate them. I like the same
I feel like you guys should live together in the summer.
It's crazy
Yeah.
how much they align.
Yeah, you
It's
and
in every single way. Every single way. That's actually why I DM'd you on Twitter. This was a long time ago. But I'm like, hey, like, I want to come on. I want to shit talk the Cubs because I knew just like through Big Cat and you're trolling wearing the Cubs jersey with Bartman at the playoff game years ago. I was like, I think he'd be all for that. He ghosted me. But this is all I needed. It was
I
cathartic
kind of
for
feel
me.
like, we just did the 2000s comedy draft. Like, you guys could just be like the Bizarro stepbrothers. Like, you guys could just move in together and just be best friends.
I'm 5'7". He's where are you? Are you 7 feet?
So yeah, I'm 7 feet.
So it'd be
7
like
feet,
a
yeah.
combination of stepbrothers and that movie Twins with Schwarzenegger and DeVito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can talk about how much we will never go to. I don't go to Wrigleyville either. Like, even when I'm home,
I try not to go north of Diversity unless I have to, which is work. So
We got bad news if you're an intern for us, buddy. Our office is in Wrigleyville.
kind of a little south.
Oh well, I'm out then.
He's out. Are the Sox going to
I
get
won't go
Conforter or
anywhere.
anybody?
True story. So when I was in high school, my dad's company gave him first row tickets to the Cubs game. They weren't even playing anybody, and he had to take a couple people to the game, and so I went with my dad, and we watched the first pitch of the game. I looked at my dad and said, "I want to leave," and we left after the first pitch.
I love it.
It's the only time I've ever been to Wrigley.
Wow.
I'm not, other than when I wore the Bartman jersey in the bleachers,
I love
which
it.
I took a lot of heat for, and I would do it again if I could.
This is fucking real hatred.
Yeah, like this
I-
is got
I-
this just turned
You're
into
not. I don't think you're that bad. Either.
this just
No,
turned into a
I
fucking
hate the
dog
Cubs.
walk.
I don't
man.
know.
I mean-
but you moved close to Wrigley Field. At
And
one
like
point.
you've said many times that you enjoy going to games at Wrigley.
Like, I'll get shit faced in the bleachers, sure, but I actively.
You
root
told
against the
Anthony.
Cubs.
He told Anthony Rizzo he was his favorite player to his face. At spring
That's
training.
not how the conversation went. I told him, I'm like, I hope you. It was the first time I ever met him. I was introduced to him, and I had been drinking. This is in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I'm like, I really hope you guys lose every game you play. He's like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, I like you, though. Like, I do respect a good baseball player and someone who carries himself properly on a baseball field. And
Said
that's
he'd be
Anthony
the first
Rizzo.
pick in a draft if you were rebuilding the team.
At that time, he would have been.
But
Absolutely.
you told him that. I'm saying.
I don't think I told him that. But I have said that, yes.
I hate the Cubs so much when they played the Indians in the World Series. I was actually buying Indians. Well, guess what is it? Guardians now?
Yeah.
I was buying Indians apparel, like hats and shirts and stuff, and was wearing them during the
I was
games.
rooting for every single pitch for the Indians.
I remember talking to Dave, and that Game 7 you said was the worst day of your life.
It was the worst day of my entire life.
You know, and
It
here
was
I
up-
am
it was up there
casually
for
cheering
me,
for the
too.
Suns. You know, this stuff is just
This is unreal.
it's crazy, Frank.
I love it. We'll get you on for
I'm
the
sorry. I'm
for
sorry.
the
I
playoffs and
really
shit
don't-
talk.
Don't get me going on the Cubs, man. It's just I don't know. I just don't like them. Never
That's
have, never
bone
will.
deep hatred.
There's
I love it.
you could offer me anything I've ever wanted to go cheer for the Cubs, and I wouldn't do it.
Amen, Reverend.
Wild.
That's Frank Kaminsky, all right.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, thanks for having
Appreciate
me,
it,
guys.
man.
Thanks,
We'll see
Frank.
ya.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
All right. That's it, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Later, man.